Good morning, everybody. It's Wendy Sanford Green, Digital Marketing Queen. And here today, we are going to talk about the absolute importance of review generation. Okay, so how do people do their research these days? It's not like it used to be. It's not word of mouth. I mean, word of mouth will get you so far. Handshake agreements used to get you so far. Now everything can be looked up online. Your entire history can be found online. Your purchases, your grades, your behaviors, your political affiliations, your criminal record, if you have one. So those things are all online. And when people are looking for a product or service and they're not looking for you by name, when you're trying to capture that greater niche of the market, then you want people to find you. First of all, you need to show up on page one, which hopefully you will be doing as you follow these different tips and tricks. So you first off, show up on page one, but when you're there, they're looking to see price comparison. Does somebody have an incentive put out there for a free quote or this and that? Those things go so far. But I know personally when I'm shopping on Amazon, I can go up on my price significantly if I see that the reviews on the less expensive item are very low reviews. So I'll go for the higher review rating. I'd rather spend my money wisely than waste it on something because it's cheaper and it's not going to last for me. So knowing that your reviews are the research that your customers are doing, and reviews drive those customers to you probably more than anything once you're found, it's important to get those reviews in. So there's a few things we'll talk about. We'll talk about review generation. We'll talk about reputation management. We'll talk about suppression marketing. So in order to get those reviews in, there are a few different ways. First, we'll talk about the things you don't want to do. You never want to offer to pay for a 5-star review. And there's a caveat there. You also never want to hire one of those companies that says they're going to just generate reviews for you. Google will catch on to that. Search engines will catch on. You will be knocked off the page completely. You will be penalized. And as we say in the industry, where do you go to hide a dead body? On page 2 of the search engine results. So you don't want to be there. Nobody clicks on page 2. So you want to stay on page 1. You don't want to be penalized. You don't want to be completely shut down. They'll pull your Google My Business listing completely, entirely, if you are doing something that is not on the up and up in terms of your reviews and it gets found out. So don't do that. They have good sniff dogs on that too. So be careful. But things that you can do, you can incentivize the leaving of a review. You can have a raffle for everybody that leaves a review. You can offer a discount when people leave a review. A great tactic is, and we offer these QR codes for review generation, that so if say you're in the service industry and you have an AC tech out cleaning water lines on your unit, and at the end he's writing out the invoice and filling it out, and he's got that little card with the QR code. Everybody knows how to use those QR codes now. They scan them with their phone camera because we've all gone through COVID. We've had the menus on the QR codes. Even grandma and grandpa know how to use those QR codes now. So scan that, pull up for the review, leave that review and say, if you leave me a review today, I will give you 5% off of your total. And then standing there and standing in front of their service tech, they're more than likely going to leave you a good review, but you don't incentivize and you don't have them coming back and saying, well, I got 5% off if I left 5 stars. No, you don't want that. So be smart about it. You can incentivize leaving reviews. You cannot incentivize leaving 5-star reviews. Okay. And so that's a great way to keep generating those in. Another thing that we offer with Haibu is we send out, we scrub your list of all the software you have integrated. So if you have Square, if you have QuickBooks, if you have emails going out, any kind of lead generation tools, anything like that, we scrub those lists ourselves to get your name, your address, your email address, your phone number. And then for everybody that's opted in, we go ahead and send out text blasts. We send out email blasts asking for reviews. We identify what stage in the life cycle each customer is. Are they a prospect? Are they a current customer? Were they a past customer? And then identify how we want to run a campaign based upon that information. So for those that are past customers or possibly current customers, asking them for that review is a great way to get more reviews in. And every once in a while, you may have a bad review come in. So how do you handle that? That's where we go into suppression marketing. First off, first, before we go into suppression marketing, you want to address the review. You want to respond to it immediately. If you sit on a review and wait to respond, it's going to bring it back up to the top. So you want to go ahead and address it right away, but you want to always address reviews in a very mature, calm way. Be the bigger person. Your customers will see that. That will transcend the negative review. And sometimes, and it's happened for me, leaving a review, a response to a review, somebody's having a bad day, or maybe one of your employees was having a bad day, and then, spread that to somebody that gave a bad review, and you handling it, apologizing, trying to make it right. They may go back in and say, you know what, I'm taking that review down, or I'm changing that rating because they made it better for me. So that's always the best outcome for a bad review. But if you can't have something like that happen, get positive reviews, apply some pressure to that gas pedal, get more reviews coming in that are positive to kind of bury that negative review. And people understand that negative reviews do happen, that situations do happen. So if you have a 4.8 star rating, but you've got 56 reviews in, more than likely they're going to see that overall, you're doing really well at what you're doing, and there's occasionally a lemon, there's a bad day. People understand that. People will give you grace for those situations. So don't let that just ruin everything for you. Don't self-sabotage by answering in a abrasive or contentious way, and people will see that you're the bigger person. And like I said, that transcends. So handle things that way. Get your reviews coming in. Manage your reputation. Keep a constant eye on what your competitors are doing. If you have 56 reviews, but your competitors have 989 reviews, and they have a 4.7 star and you have a 4.9 star, they might be winning there because they've got so many more reviews in. There are more 5 stars coming in to bring that average up. So, always keep momentum going for reviews, because you don't want somebody coming in and just totally lapping you and making you look like you're not maybe a newbie on the block when you're the true local, things like that. So be the true local. Another great thing about reviews that people oftentimes forget is that you need to have your review rating front and center on your website. And you need to have something pulling in those reviews so that they're going through these great reviews are cycling through. The 4 and 5s are coming in with positives, because that is fresh content to your website. So your website is getting constantly updated with fresh content, and fresh content that is naturally, organically keyword rich. Because when somebody goes in and says, I hired AC techs to come in and clean my lines, and even though they were coming from New Braunfels and I'm in Canyon Lake, they were on time and John did a great job. My AC is running perfectly. It's blowing cold. I can't wait to have them service it every year. Now you've got all of these different keywords just put in there naturally. Geographic areas, New Braunfels, Canyon Lake, AC, cold air, service, annual service, things like that will come in. Google's seeing that, search engines are seeing that. It's making your content on your page naturally very rich, very fresh with green, new, fresh content. You got to get those front and center. Oftentimes when somebody clicks and they see that you've got this great star rating, they're seeing these words of affirmation, they feel better. They feel very good about hiring you to come out, and they'll stay on your page and they'll go ahead and click for the quote, whatever it may be, call you, and they feel good about their decision. They feel like they've done their due diligence, their research, and they're good to go. So reviews are important. And on another note, we will talk in the future about Google My Business and why Google My Business it's imperative to keep that up, and then that reflecting your reviews, and that will reflect your review counts for Google. And we will talk about social and where your reviews really matter, and areas too where people are really bothered by the review count or reviews that aren't recommended that may not be as big of a deal. People in the general public are catching on to where they see their reviews. People are navigating to where reviews are the most forthcoming, seem the most legitimate, where it's not confusing. Yelp used to be a major player in finding businesses. They're dying because they've tried to monetize the review process, and they only recommend reviews for certain people, and people are feeling scared that their Yelp review isn't being recommended, that sort of thing, for their business, and they're paying money, and they have these solicitors that will call you and leave you 10-minute long messages to try to get you to go ahead and sign up with Yelp and pay. And then they say, well, that won't affect anything with your review rating, but I can't help but think that it does. But also, how many times have you gone onto Yelp and looked for a business, clicked on what you thought was that business, and suddenly you're on some other business that it's recommending? You just, when they make things confusing, they lose customers, and you never want to do that. So with your reviews, constantly put the foot to the gas, constantly get those reviews in. Never offer to incentivize a 5-star review, but do offer to incentivize in some way leaving the review. And always have every employee you know or that you hire asking for those reviews, and making sure that that's one of the most important things to your business is getting those reviews generated. If you need help, contact me. Do not hesitate. Ask me questions, reach out to me. All of my contact information is here. I look forward to working with all of you. Have a great day. Thanks again. It's Wendy Sanford Green, Digital Marketing Queen.